of x. I added a lot of points to your test grade because some of you made typos. So of course a typo is not a mistake for me. So but it was a mistake for MyMathLab. So I added a lot of points. Okay. So I'm ready to start. Vinny, do you remember, or was it Kayla, or?
Yeah, sorry. It'll probably be too difficult to do, but it just has a graph, and it just wants the inverse of the graph, or the negative of fx.
So what is the function?
Y equals fx. And it just has
Oh, it doesn't have the function, it has a graph.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to copy what I see. I think I remember that problem. So they were not numbered the same for all, so that's why I don't know. But I'm going to preview it and I'll find it. It may not be the exact problem that you have, but I think I know which one you're referring to. So it was like a zigzag or something, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so the function, the graph of the function is given, and we are asked to graph. You're right, the opposite of f of x. Very good. So I'm copying what I see, and I'm hoping that is what you see. So I have 2, 2, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Right here. And then I have it 4 and 0 and identical on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's right here. So this is what I see. Negative 4 and 4, and then negative 6 and 6 and 2 and negative 2. So
yeah, mine's just a little bit different, but that's essentially the same thing.
Okay, so if we're asked to find the opposite of f of x, all y values have to be reflected. That's all we need to do. So then it's right here. So this graph is negative f of x. And this graph is f of x. We are reflecting the graph with respect to the x-axis. All y values get multiplied by negative 1. Good. Anything else? Other questions for me?
Just want to say on the graph and period in my lab, I had a problem on the homework where when they showed me the correct answer and my answer and the correct answer looked so similar, I didn't even see how I got it wrong.
Well, I have to see it. If you'd like to share your screen, you can share your screen and you can show me what you mean.
It was on the homework.
Yeah, but if I can't see it, I won't be able to say anything. So you have to share your screen, you have to go to the problem and then share the screen. It's very easy.
Okay.
Just open up the problem and click on share screen.
All right, I have to find it.
Oh, okay. So, or you take a picture with your phone and text it to me. And then I'll tell you what the situation is. I could also, that's another option. Is that Stacy?
Yes.
Okay, so there is another option. Let me go in. And do you remember which section this was? In 2.5?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because it was a lot of graphing in that section too.
Right. So the only one that I see is either 7 or 21. because you have everything else correct. So I'm looking at 7. Was it a parabola? No.
No, if I remember, it was just one of the, I'm not exactly sure which problem it was, but it was just one of the graphing problems where I had to graph it, and then when I graphed it and they said the answer was wrong, and then when they showed me the correct answer, both of them was similar, so I was trying to figure out how I even got it wrong.
I see it. I
And I
find
had
it.
to go
It's
back
problem
and go back.
21. It's problem 21 in 2.5.
Okay.
And your problem was 1/3 x cubed. So f of x equals 1/3 x cubed. So when you graph it, in MyMathLab you have 0, 0. And when you plug in 1 is 1/3, but it will not allow you to put 1. You have to find a point on. So if we have 3 cubed is 27, divided by 3 is 9. So you have to use this point, 3, 9.
Oh, okay.
If you don't use this point 3, 9 and you just graph it, it will consider it wrong. So you have to find, you will graph the origin, and then you have to make it go through that point.
Okay.
If you don't find this point, because see, f of 3 is 1/3 times 27. 3 to the 3rd is 27. When you simplify, you get 9. So you created a point 3, 9. Although the shape is correct, MyMathLab will consider it wrong because it has to go through another point that is verified.
Okay.
So this point is not verified. Or any point here on this part, or on this part is not verified, but this is verified. Because when I plug in 3, I get the function value to be 9.
Oh, okay.
So the shape is correct. That's why they gave you half the point.
Okay.
Or maybe they didn't. No, they did not. The shape is correct, what you graphed, but you have to make it go through a particular point.
Oh, okay. All right. It makes sense now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. Okay, anything else we want to go back to?
A question from the test.
Yes, any question?
So it says use the graphs of f and g to evaluate the composite function.
Yes?
And it says f of g, and then in parentheses it has 2.
So we have f of g of 2 or f of g of 2. Okay, do we have g of 2?
And it just shows the graph.
Can you give me g of 2 from the graph?
Mhm. 1 second. So it runs through, g of 2 is -3.
Okay, so then you are asked to find f of -3. So please tell me what is f of -3.
Is 6.
Okay, so then your answer is 6.
Well, I put that and it said it was wrong.
Let me take a look then. Which problem is it? So let me
It's
go.
number 11 on my test.
Okay, I'm gonna go directly to you because everyone has a different 11. So
I mean, I could do it. You could do it later. I just was asking because I didn't
no,
know.
I specifically said we're gonna spend some time on the
Okay.
test today. So no, this is very important. So you
I
said.
just was confused. I know I was confused on it, so I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna ask a question."
So you're 11. Let's take a look. This is very important because final exam will have questions like these. So we want to. Okay, so you have indeed f of g of 2. So g of 2. Let me check now. G of 2 is -3, correct? And then when you go to -3, you read 6. You answered 1. I look at your answer.
Oh, I guess it should. Okay, I guess it put the. Oh, I see. It put the
Right.
correct answer.
So you gave me
I'm
now the
sorry.
correct answer. That's correct. It's 6, but I see you typed in
Why I
1.
put 1.
Yeah. That's why I needed to look at your notes. Because this kind of errors, they mean nothing to me, and you get the point back. But they mean the world to my math lab.
So we find g of 2, and then whatever g of 2 is, we find f of that,
Yes.
and then that's the final.
Yeah,
result.
so everything you told me is correct. But somehow, yeah, something else got typed in, and I couldn't verify it in your notes, so I
I
couldn't.
probably just forgot during the
But
testing.
maybe you did it correctly in your notes, and I added up points because I did. I increased most of the grades, some of them tremendously.
I tend to freeze when I take tests, and I forget everything I ever know. So
Well, so what I highly recommend, which I recommend to all my students all the time, redo all problems we do in class till you're able to perform perfectly with your eyes closed. And then, I'm just getting my pitcher of water. And then you should have no difficulties. I just got my water, so I forgot to bring it closer. Okay, so once you do that, you will have, I guarantee you, no difficulties in any problem. But you have to find the time and do that. And I guarantee you will never stumble. But you have to find the time to redo the problems we do in class till you are able to solve them on your own without looking anywhere several times. And then you'll understand what's happening and you'll have no difficulties. I always said that I know that this is not your only obligation in life. But that's why I post all these videos, so anything that can help you. Okay. So please try for test 3 to do what I'm asking you to do, and you'll see a huge difference. Okay. Other questions for me? Anything? Anything else from the
I have
test?
one more.
Yes, please.
So this one, it says a ball is thrown upward and outward from a height of 7 feet. The height of the ball, f of x, in feet can be modeled by f of x equals negative 2x squared plus 1.4x plus 7.
So we are asked, in all these problems, we had at least 3 like these in class. So obviously this is the situation where throwing the ball, it hits the ground eventually. It will reach a maximum height. This is the maximum height, and this is where it reaches it, for which x. And this is your 7, because that's the y-intercept. And this is going to be the x-intercept right here. So in this problem, we are always going to be asked to find the max. So you must remember this, the negative b over 2a and f of the negative b over 2a. So first I have to find the x of the vertex. So negative b over 2 times a. I'll simplify it, it's positive of course, and I multiply by 10 because I don't know how my MATLAB wants it. So 14 divided by 40, and I see I can divide by 2, so I get 7 divided by 20. So maybe they want it rounded up. I don't know. I don't have the problem in front of me right now. So the vertex is 7 over 20, comma, that number which I didn't find yet. So f of 7 over 20. Negative 2 times 49 over 400 and plus 1.4 times 7 over 20 and plus 7. I wanted to say one thing that I have seen a common mistake. So before I continue, a common mistake is, for example, if there is a function f of x negative x squared plus 4, and you're asked to evaluate for -2, my students wrote this, -2 squared plus 4, which is not the case. That's not what the problem is asking. The problem says negative, x is the one that is squared, plus 4. So you have to copy negative, you have to copy x, you have to square x, and then plus 4. But -2 squared is 4, with minus in front would be -4, and then plus 4, the answer is 0. So I saw it in your notes, and I wasn't happy because we evaluated, and we know how to evaluate these things. Okay, so assuming, I don't know, as I said, I don't have the problem. Kayla, can you tell me, are we allowed to put the decimal numbers here, or we have to find the exact number?
It wants the decimals.
Okay.
And the first question is asking for the maximum
Yeah.
height.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. So then in this function, I plug it in y equals. So I will plug in the function as -2, and now x squared, and then plus 1.4x, and then plus 7. And then when I go to second and table, I will plug in 7 over 20. That's all I care about. And I get 7.245. It doesn't matter what you plugged in, because I think it's asking you to round to blah, blah, blah. If you put in this or round it, I give you full credit, because I don't really care about rounding, right? We know how to round. So in a test situation, you may miss that. And of course, if you don't put 7.25, it'll consider it wrong and doesn't give you the point. So of course, I added up at the point. So this 7 divided by 20, I don't know if they ask you for that right now, so 0.35. So the vertex is 0.35 comma 7.245, but you have to be very careful what they want you to plug in. And eventually they will ask you to find the x-intercept right here, this point. So then -2 x squared plus 1.4x plus 7 equals 0. You will multiply both sides by -10 if you want to. This is what I recommend. And then you will get 20x squared and minus 14x and minus 7 equals 0. Because I want to get rid of decimal numbers. I will divide both sides by 2 to make it as easy as possible. Now I have no choice but use the Corati formula. -b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, but I'm not going to put minus to mess my calculations up. I'm just going to put plus and divide it by 2a. So then I plug in the calculator. Remember to put parentheses around everything, so we have 7 and plus the square root of 49 plus 40 times 35, close the parenthesis outside and divide by 20. I got 2.25. So one solution is 2.25. I don't know, you didn't give me measurements. I'm assuming it's feet. And then the other one with minus, of course I don't care for it because it's going to be here. But let's determine it anyway. So I change the plus to minus. And I got negative 1.55, which we knew was going to be behind the y-axis. So negative 1.55, not important.
So you're saying that, so the maximum height on here, they said it was 9.5 feet.
But did you give me this correctly? Was it negative 2x squared plus 1.
No, it's supposed to be negative 0.2.
Okay, so then you just change.
Okay.
I put 2. I thought that was
It's
it.
okay.
My apologies. So, but everything is the same. Just redo the calculations.
Okay.
and replace this by negative 0.2.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I heard negative 2. My apologies.
That's okay.
So then you will put that in here. Instead of negative 4, you will have a negative 0.4.
I was like when I did. It says to round, and I rounded incorrectly, so that's why.
Yeah, I gave you credit for that.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure I looked at each and every answer for each student.
So how do we know which ones you really gave us credit for